All right, folks, here we are. 4 years in the making. 4 years in the making. It's match day. Rugby World Cup 2023 final. Stade de France, Saint Denis. 6e arrondissement, Paris. 9 p.m. Paris time, South Africa time. 8 p.m. British Isles and Ireland. And 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wow. Did you think they were going to get there? Well, I did. I've been calling the Springboks. And it's not just personal bias because I'm a Bok fan. But I thought this team had the right mix of talent and capability to get to the final once again. And here they are in back-to-back finals for them the first time. But they're not the first team that's made back-to-back finals. In fact, one team has won back-to-back finals before, and of course that was the All Blacks, their opponent today. Now, however you look at this, this is an incredible journey. They lost to Ireland in a game at this same stadium during the pool stage. That was a tough game for them. They should have won that game, quite frankly. But they get to this one, and they had to go through France, the home side, with arguably the best French side that's ever been fielded. And then they had to beat England. Not as good a side, but a side that had their number for 65 minutes, and it looked improbable that they would actually win that game. But they did. They came back and they won it. So here I am on a beautiful fall day, East Coast United States, and it's all about rugby. We got some URC games coming up. I'll be calling those on Rugby Ascendant. And then it's the final. I'll be doing that early with a pregame, and we'll get into the game this afternoon. Evening for folks overseas. So let's talk about this game. South Africa must avoid stupid mistakes. South Africa must return to form and win its set pieces, its lineouts, and its scrums. One thing they can take advantage of, which they've hurt this All Black squad in the recent past on, is the high ball. What England did to South Africa last week, what South Africa can do to New Zealand this week is get that ball high in the air and then take advantage of that and secure that ball. That's something they didn't do last week. Win those scrums, win those lineouts, and win the high ball. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Well, what about this squad? Couple minor changes, actually significant changes, but only a few changes in total. Monty Libbik and Cobus Reinach, who started both of the last two games, the quarter and semifinal, are not starting. They're not even on the bench. Both are out, as Jacques Nienaber and Rossi Rasmus go with a 7-1 split. The much talked about, acclaimed, celebrated, criticized, complained about 7-1 split. It's a huge risk. Can they do it? There is no backup scrum half, though to be honest, they could bring Cheslin Colby in if necessary, but you don't want Colby at scrum half. You want him on the wing. That's where his talents are, that's where he can exploit, and that's where he can make the All Blacks play. So we have a rematch here of the 1995 World Cup final. Now, that's not lost on a lot of South Africans. Celebrations taking place all over South Africa. People in schools, Paul Ruiz Gym, Rondebosch Boys High, all these places where players come from are coming out, making videos. People all over the country spontaneously breaking into singing in Kozizikilele Africa. South Africans are jazzed up and excited about this Rugby World Cup final. So, what's going to happen? Your guess is as good as mine. Anybody can make a prediction here. It's up to the players to perform tonight, not us. All things being equal, South Africa wins 29-26. Fingers crossed, hoping for a repeat of the last one. And we'll see what happens. But this is the Rugby World Cup, the last game of this World Cup. It has been an interesting World Cup. Disappointing in some respects, not from either of these two sides, but for the way the thing was conducted. So, going into this, we need Pollard and Faf de Klerk to keep it straight. They don't have the same sort of flair that Monty and Cobus have at putting the high ball up and getting it back for their team. So we'll see what happens. But Pollard is reliable. By the way, this is the 25th time that Pollard and Faf de Klerk have teamed up, and that's a record. Never had a fly half, scrum half pairing in a Springboks jersey that many times, 25 times. So will the 25th time also be magic? And for a lot of players that are going out, Dwayne Vermeulen's final game, and this is a chance for him to be a back-to-back champion. He was the man, or the player of the match, man of the match in the 2019 final. Let's see how he does today. He's been incredible in this World Cup. One more thing I need to add to this when I analyze this is that in the France game and throughout this World Cup, there's been a pairing that's been a bit unbelievable and made a huge difference for the Springboks in the middle of the field, and that is Jesse Creel and Damien de Allende. In the last game, England's game plan successfully neutralized both of these players. They kept the ball on the wings and away from them. The high ball never really got near them. They had virtually no impact on the game. And that was unfortunate because they're playmakers. And we remember that kick through that Jesse Creel did, perfect bounce up for Cheslin Colby, score a try in that France game. These guys are playmakers. They're whirling dervishes, making tackles all over the place. They need to be involved in the game, and that's important for tonight. So a lot of important things in the game. What are we going to say? Will we be happy tonight? Will I have lost my voice after calling this game? Perhaps. Either because of anger, Wayne Barnes, or because I'm just thrilled to death that South Africa's won it back-to-back. A lot of people in South Africa are saying that this is critically important for South Africa, a country on the verge of chaos with a collapsing infrastructure, a collapsing economy, mass unemployment, violent crime. But it's also a country full of amazing human beings, beautiful vistas, fantastic human capital potential, fantastic natural potential. And the Springboks are one of those few things that can unite South Africans regardless of their beliefs. And that's what's happening today. Hopefully they can win it. But even if they don't win it, South Africans will be proud of the Bucks for the effort they put into this World Cup. As far as the All Blacks, we need to be careful. Do not let Richie Mo'unga and Beauden Barrett find space in the middle with chip kicks and punish us with our defense falling asleep. They've done that in this tournament, and they can do that to the Springboks. We don't want a result that we saw at Auckland during the Rugby Championship, where the Springboks got obliterated. First 18 minutes, it's like they had lead in their boots, just standing around watching the All Blacks run right past them, literally. However, they flipped the script at Twickenham in the last build-up match to the World Cup, and they thrashed New Zealand, giving them the largest ever defeat in rugby in well over a century of All Blacks history. Neither of those games matters. 1995 doesn't matter other than for symbolic thoughts, but it has no bearing on this game. What matters tonight is the performance of 23 South Africans on that pitch and 23 Kiwis on that pitch. Let's go, Bucks. Let's get it done. There's my final thoughts on match day, October 28th, 2023, Rugby World Cup 2023 final. Let's go, Bucks. Boka, boka, boka.